welcome back to Play and Trade Guitars. I'm John, that's Zach behind the camera, and this is Play and Trade Guitars, where of course we play it and trade it. We are checking out the quintessential Paul Reed Smith Custom 24 guitar today. This is in the Core lineup. This is, like I said, the quintessential guitar, the one that put Paul Reed Smith on the map. He took this guitar to Winter NAMM in 1985 and changed history, changed guitar history. And before PRS was synonymous with John Mayer like it is the past few years, this is the guitar that when you said PRS, you meant the PRS Custom 24. Top of his game, really made an impact in the guitar industry, and I'll show you all the features, all the specs. We'll pull it apart on the bench, and then of course we'll plug it in and play it. But if you're in the market for this guitar or any other gear, please do us a favor, click to buy gear using our link. It really does support us, and you get fast free shipping and easy payment plans. It really does make buying new gear super easy. So without further ado, let's check out this heavy duty case, beautiful case, and let's get out this beautiful guitar. I can't wait to show you the Core Custom 24 from PRS. All right, here it is. So if you don't know anything about Paul Reed Smith, this guitar will tell the story. You can see that this is a vintage inspired guitar put to an entirely new level of modern craftsmanship in guitar building. And PRS and Paul Reed Smith in particular is so meticulous about the materials that they use for guitars, the way they build guitars, and it just oozes of quality. I mean, every little component of this guitar. Famous features are going to be this carved violin top, a maple top. So again, vintage inspired with the pairing of a maple carved top with a mahogany body, mahogany neck, beautiful rosewood fretboard, this one having the iconic bird inlays, and you've got a patented PRS designed tremolo, which offers a lot of tuning stability. You have their 8515 pickups. That slash indicates that they're inspired by 1985 pickups, so Paul's original pickups from 85. This set introduced in 2015, hence the slash 15. You got a volume and a tone, and then a 5-way blade switch, which does some really cool things that I'll tell you about on the bench in terms of working with these pickups. And then just getting a look at this, you've got a nitro gloss finish on this guitar, one of the few other manufacturers apart from Gibson using nitro. And Paul Reed Smith is a really interesting guy. He was inspired directly and was friends with Ted McCarty, the iconic designer and builder over at Gibson in the storied years of Gibson. And he helped pass a lot of knowledge on to Paul, and a lot of that lives today in the guitars that they build. But again, this is the quintessential Paul Reed Smith guitar. This one in a Risa Verde color. Beautiful finish. Look at the flame on that, just insane. So why don't we head over to the bench and pull this apart so we can take a deep dive before we plug it in and play it. Super excited to hear this one. Starting up at the top of the headstock, beautiful. Look at this, how they've inlaid the top with rosewood and Paul Reed Smith's signature. These are locking tuners. See, they're open-backed locking tuners. All the serials on Paul Reed Smith's in this series are handwritten, which is really cool. And then you can get a look at that iconic Paul Reed Smith headstock coming down with the mahogany neck. This is going to be a pattern thin neck, so a thinner neck, mahogany body, set neck construction. Beautiful. I mean, even look at this brushed metal. Even the covers are just gorgeous on these guitars. And flipping it over, look at that maple violin carve, double cutaway. Beautiful, gorgeous top with the flame, a Risa Verde finish, nitro finish across this guitar. These iconic bird inlays with pearl inlays, 24 frets on this guitar. These pair of 8515 splittable humbuckers. And then we got a volume and a tone, and we have a 5-way blade switch. And actually what happens here with the pickups is in position 1, it's a bridge humbucker. In position 2, it's middle position, except you have a bridge humbucker plus a single neck. In middle position, you have true humbucker, humbucker middle. In position 4, you have a middle position, but both are split, so both single coil middle. And then in position 5, you just have the neck humbucker. So a little bit more complicated, but some interesting and unique sounds across this 5-way blade, not like you'd see on other brands for sure. Nut comes in at 1.66 inches, first fret at 0.82 inches, up to 0.9 inches at the 12th. Pair of 8515 humbuckers in the Core series. These are made in America in the Maryland plant. Go ahead and flip on our multimeter and get a reading. This bridge humbucker comes in at 8.1. Neck comes in at 7.2. And let's take a look underneath here. Whoa, look at all those wires. That's to accommodate for all the different switching capabilities. You got a long neck tenon in here. This particular guitar has a build date stamped right in the pocket, January 6th, 2023. Flipping the guitar over, we can pop off these control cavities and look at the trem block as well. Give you a quick look at the trem block here. Look at that, that trem block itself looks just beautiful. It's like a machined work of art there. 4 springs from the factory, and then we can pull off the control cavity cover. See that switch with lots of wiring capabilities, and then a couple of pots in there. Custom 24 weighs in at 7 pounds, 14 ounces, so we'll call it 7.8 pounds. And then flipping the guitar around for an initial reaction, I'm still struck by just the beauty of the overall components that are used. The woods, everything is gorgeous. And moving on to playing a nice clear ring like a bell. Good tuning stability from this trem. All right, well, with that said, I'm looking forward to plugging this in. Remember, if you're in the market for this or any gear, click to buy our link. In fact, click and bookmark that link just so you have it, because it's super helpful to shop. And I'll tell you what, let's get plugged in. I'm gonna show you clean tones, we'll dirty it up, and then of course we'll let it sing behind a track. Drop a comment, let me know what you think so far, and then we'll see you on the other side to talk about my raw reaction to playing the Core Custom 24. Not a cheap guitar. We'll see how it sounds, see if it sounds as good as it looks, huh? Let's do it. right, I don't have a bad thing to say about the PRS Core Custom 24. This one felt like pure joy in my hands. And I'll tell you what, the 24 fret guitar, I usually stay away from a 24 fret guitar. This was the most playable 24 fret guitar I've ever played. It was easy to get around the neck with the double cutaway. This piece of rosewood, the way the fretboard feels, and particularly this pattern thin neck is so playable. And it's just a gorgeous guitar. The gloss nitro finish feels fantastic on the neck itself. You know, it doesn't have necessarily some of the cosmetic appointments you'd think at this price, like binding. It has kind of faux binding that they kind of fake with the wood, and there is no binding on the neck itself. However, I tend to think that an unbound neck can sometimes be more playable than a bound neck, so that doesn't really bother me from a player's standpoint. I thought the tones that you get out of these pickups are fantastic. I'm not usually a fan of splitting humbuckers. However, this trick, this position 4, where you can do a single coil, that's a single coil in the middle where both humbuckers are split, and I actually thought that was super usable and a lot of fun, and especially when you're taking a solo or playing lead, you can really hear the distinct difference when I switch into that. So nothing but good things to say. I'm going to go ahead and give you my final score since you stuck with me to the end. I based that score on 3 main things: overall playability, overall sound, and overall value. Overall playability, I already told you it's the most playable 24 fret guitar I've played. I really like the shape of the neck. I'm going to go ahead and give this guitar a 9.5 on playability. Absolutely a dream to play this guitar. It did not fight me at all. Then it comes to sound, super impressed by the capabilities of the splittable humbuckers. The humbuckers themselves sound fantastic when you're just in bridge and neck. And so I'm going to go ahead and give it a high score of 9.2 on sound. It's definitely kind of a high def sound. It's not really as vintage sounding. But it's got a lot of body and it's got a lot of character and a real voice to it. So I'll give it a 9.2 on sound. Where it's going to get dinged a little is value. And, you know, there are comparable guitars maybe from other brands, but I think what Paul Reed Smith is saying is, I'm going to build you a guitar that's worth the price tag, because at over $4,000, this is an expensive guitar. It's not going to score the highest on value. However, if you look at value in terms of getting what you pay for, Paul Reed Smith is giving you a top-of-the-line experience with this guitar. I can't call it anything else except a guitar experience, and it is that good. But from an affordability standpoint, I'm going to go ahead and give this guitar an 8.5 because it's just it's not the most affordable guitar out there. I do want to tell you that they make the SE, which is made overseas, but to exacting standards from PRS. You should really check out our demo on the SE Custom 24. Much more affordable and a great sounding guitar too, but you're not going to get the top shelf quintessential Custom 24 treatment that you're going to get from the Core line. Fantastic guitar. That brings us to an overall score of 9.1 on the Paul Reed Smith Core Custom 24, the flagship guitar from PRS. I loved playing this guitar. I don't typically think of myself as someone who's going to reach for a PRS. This one's changing my mind. I'm really, really enjoying the playing experience and sounds out of this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Remember, when you're in the market for a guitar like this or any other gear, click to buy using our link. Thank you so much to those of you who have done that. Please do us a favor, also hit subscribe, like on this video, and we'll see you on the next Play and Trade Guitars video. Thanks for hanging out. I'm John, that's Zach, and this is Play and Trade Guitars.